Have you noticed how life today feels heavier than ever? Everywhere you look, bad news, pressure to succeed, people pretending to be happy while breaking inside. The world feels like it's collapsing piece by piece. But here's the question. While everyone else is stressed, worried, and chasing control, what if you could stay calm, strong, and unshakable? What if, no matter how much the world falls apart, you didn't break with it? This is the way of the monk, and today you'll discover how you too can walk through chaos with peace that nothing can touch. Detach from the noise of the world, protect your inner peace. We live in a world that never stops shouting for our attention. Every time you open your phone, news headlines scream about disaster, fear, and division. Notifications pop up one after another, pulling your mind in 100 different directions. Social media floods you with other people's opinions, problems, and highlight reels, making you compare your life and question your worth. All of this noise creates stress, anxiety, and restlessness without us even realizing it. The monk shows us a different way. He teaches that to truly hear yourself, you must first quiet the world around you. Disconnect to reconnect. That doesn't mean escaping forever. It means creating moments of silence each day, even just a few minutes, where you step away from the noise and allow your mind to breathe. Silence is not weakness. It is one of the greatest forms of strength. In silence, you recharge, you see things more clearly, and you remember who you really are. Protect your peace like it is your most valuable treasure, because once you lose it, everything else in life begins to crumble. But if you guard it carefully, you can stay calm and strong no matter how loud the world becomes. Stop letting social pressure control your life. In today's world, so many people are trapped living for the opinions of others. Social media has become a stage where everyone feels they must perform, posting pictures to look successful, pretending to be happy, and chasing likes as if they define our worth. We dress to impress, speak to be accepted, and often silence our true selves just to fit into someone else's expectations. But deep down, this creates emptiness, because no matter how much approval you get, it is never enough. The monk, however, lives differently. He doesn't bend under the weight of society's judgment, and he doesn't waste his life trying to meet other people's standards. Instead, he is grounded in authenticity, living in alignment with his own values rather than chasing external validation. This doesn't mean he ignores others. It means he is free from their control. When you stop trying to please everyone, you start living with real confidence. You begin to act from courage instead of fear. Social pressure only has power over you if you hand it that power. The monk teaches us to reclaim it, to remind ourselves daily, I am not here to impress. I am here to express. I am not here to fit in. I am here to be true. And when you live this way, you become unshakable, because your worth is no longer something the world can give or take away. It is something you carry within. Master the power of emotional discipline. One of the biggest challenges in today's world is that most people are ruled by their emotions. Think about it. Anger makes people say words they regret. Fear stops them from chasing opportunities. Jealousy makes them compare and lose joy. And anxiety keeps them awake at night. Social media and news outlets know this very well. They are designed to trigger your emotions, to keep you hooked, scrolling, and reacting without control. And when you allow emotions to control you, the world controls you. But the monk lives by a different rule. He understands that emotions are natural, but they don't have to be the master of your life. The secret is discipline over impulse. Emotional discipline means pausing before reacting, taking a breath before speaking, and choosing action based on wisdom instead of temporary feelings. Imagine if, instead of snapping back in anger, you paused and responded calmly. Imagine if, instead of letting fear paralyze you, you still took the step forward with courage. That pause, that choice, is where your true power lies. The monk trains his mind daily through meditation, mindfulness, and awareness, so that when strong emotions rise, he is not swept away. And you can do the same. It doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means mastering them. You acknowledge your anger, your fear, your sadness, but you do not let them drive the car of your life. You are in control, not your impulses. This is emotional freedom. In a world where most people are reacting blindly, the one who responds with discipline becomes unshakable, wise, and truly free. Choose stillness in a world addicted to chaos. Look around at the world we live in today. Everything is fast, noisy, and restless. People wake up, and the first thing they do is grab their phone, instantly flooding their mind with messages, notifications, and updates. The streets are filled with rushing cars, busy schedules, and people running from one task to the next. Online, the chaos is even louder. Arguments in comment sections, endless scrolling, and constant consumption of information. And the truth is, this constant chaos is not just around us. It slowly creeps inside us. It makes the mind restless, the heart anxious, and the soul tired. But the monk chooses a different path. While the world runs faster and faster, he chooses stillness. He understands something most people forget. Movement without direction is not progress. It's just noise. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means creating space to breathe, reflect, and act with clarity. In the quiet moments, the monk sees what others are too distracted to notice. He listens deeply, he observes carefully, and he acts from a place of wisdom instead of panic. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. Everyone else is running in fear, but you remain still, calm and steady. That's the power of inner stillness. It becomes your anchor when everything around you is shaking. And the good news is, you don't need to live in a monastery to practice this. You can find stillness in small daily rituals, a few minutes of meditation before you start your day, a walk in nature without your phone, or even sitting quietly in your room, just watching your breath. These small acts of stillness give you back control over your mind. In a world addicted to chaos, most people are reactive. They panic, they rush, they follow the crowd. But when you choose stillness, you rise above the noise. You make better decisions, you find peace even in hardship, and you carry a calm energy that others can feel. The monk is unshakable, not because the world is calm, but because he is calm while the world is not. That is true strength. Focus on what you can control. Let go of the rest. One of the greatest causes of suffering in the modern world is our obsession with trying to control everything. We want to control how people see us, how situations unfold, how the future turns out, even things as vast as the economy, the weather, or the opinions of strangers online. But no matter how hard we try, these things remain outside our grasp. And every time we attempt to force control where it doesn't belong, we end up frustrated, anxious, and exhausted. The monk, however, lives by a principle that makes him unshakable. He focuses only on what is within his power and surrenders what is not. He doesn't waste his energy fighting battles he cannot win. Instead, he directs all his strength toward the one thing he always has authority over: his own actions, his own choices, and his own response to life. Think about how much lighter your life would feel if you stopped pouring energy into things you cannot change. Instead of stressing about what others think of you, you focus on how you carry yourself. Instead of panicking about the future, you focus on what steps you can take today. Instead of drowning in disappointment when plans fall apart, you focus on how you choose to respond and adapt. This shift may sound small, but it transforms everything. When your attention is rooted in what you can control, you gain clarity, power, and peace. You no longer waste your energy on illusions. This doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means acting with wisdom, directing your energy like an arrow instead of scattering it in every direction. The monk doesn't control the storms of life, but he always controls the boat he is sailing. And because of that, he never feels powerless, even in the hardest times. In a world where most people burn themselves out, fighting against what they cannot change, the monk thrives by mastering what he can. The truth is, freedom is not found in controlling everything. It is found in letting go of what you never controlled in the first place. Turn struggles into strength instead of complaints. Every single person in today's world carries struggles. Some battle financial stress, others deal with toxic relationships, health challenges, or the constant pressure to succeed. And when life becomes heavy, most people fall into the same trap. They complain. They complain about their job, their family, their past, the government, the economy. Complaints become a daily habit, a language of weakness. But here's the truth. Complaining has never solved a single problem. It only makes the pain louder and the struggle heavier. The monk understands this deeply, and this is why he does something radically different. He takes the same struggles others complain about, and he uses them as fuel to grow stronger. When the monk faces hardship, he doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, he asks, "What is this teaching me?" This shift in perspective transforms suffering into wisdom. For him, pain is not an enemy, it's a teacher. Hardship is not a punishment, it's training. Just like fire strengthens steel, struggle strengthens the soul. And here's the profound truth. The difference between people who break and people who rise is not the struggle itself. It's how they choose to face it. Think about the hardest times in your own life. Didn't those moments shape you more than the easy ones? The lessons you carry today, the resilience you have built, the wisdom you now hold, most of it came from pain, not comfort. Yet so many of us resist suffering, run from it, or complain about it instead of using it. The monk teaches us to reverse that mindset. Instead of letting challenges break us, we can allow them to build us. Every time life knocks you down, you have two choices: stay down and complain, or rise and grow stronger. Complaints drain your energy, but growth multiplies it. The monk channels every struggle into discipline, every setback into patience, and every wound into compassion. This is why he remains unshakable, because even suffering cannot defeat him. It only shapes him into something greater. The modern world tells us to avoid discomfort, to chase quick pleasure, to numb our pain with distractions. But the monk teaches us the opposite. Lean into your struggles, face them fully, and let them transform you. That is how you build inner power no one can take away. When you adopt this mindset, life changes. Suddenly, rejection becomes redirection. Failure becomes education, and pain becomes transformation. This is the deepest lesson of all. Struggles are not here to destroy you. They are here to prepare you. If you can stop complaining, if you can turn every hardship into a lesson, you will become like the monk, unshakable, unbreakable, and unstoppable, no matter how hard the world tries to break you. Remember, nothing lasts forever, not even hard times. If there is one truth that can set you free, it is this: everything in life is temporary. The monk understands this more deeply than anyone else, and it is the foundation of his unshakable strength. In Buddhism, this truth is called anicca, impermanence. Nothing lasts, not the joy, not the sorrow, not the successes, not the failures. And yet, people suffer the most when they forget this. Look at the modern world. People panic when things begin to fall apart because they believe the bad times will last forever. They cling desperately to comfort, to money, to relationships, to identity, terrified of losing them. But no matter how tightly you hold, life eventually forces change. Jobs end, people leave, bodies age, storms come, and peace is disturbed. The world keeps moving, and the harder you resist, the more you suffer. The monk, however, takes the opposite approach. He accepts impermanence not as something to fear, but as something to embrace. He knows that just as storms come, they also pass. Just as pain arises, it also fades. Just as night falls, the sun also rises. Because of this wisdom, he never loses hope in dark times, and he never clings desperately in good times. He remains balanced, steady, and at peace, unshaken by either extreme. But how does the monk train himself to live this truth? He practices techniques of awareness that anyone can learn. One of the simplest yet deepest is mindfulness of the breath. When you sit quietly and watch your breath, you notice something profound. Every breath comes and every breath goes. None of them stay. They rise and fall, just like moments in life. The monk uses this practice to remind himself, if even the breath, the very thing keeping me alive, cannot be held forever, then why cling to anything else? Another technique is observing change without resistance. When pain arises, physical or emotional, the monk doesn't immediately react or fight it. He observes it. He watches it rise, peak, and eventually pass. This practice trains him to endure suffering without being broken by it, because he has seen with his own eyes that nothing stays, not even pain. And here is the deepest truth. Impermanence is not your enemy. It is your freedom. Imagine if pain truly lasted forever. Imagine if failure could never be undone, if heartbreak never healed, if storms never ended. Life would be unbearable. But because everything passes, you always have the chance to begin again. You always have hope, even in your darkest moment. The monk reminds us that every ending is also a beginning. When something falls apart, it creates space for something new to rise. When a season of hardship ends, it leaves behind wisdom that makes you stronger. This is why he never fears collapse, because collapse is not the end. It is simply transformation. In today's world, where people cling to money, status, relationships, and even their own image, this truth is revolutionary. If you can learn to live with impermanence, you stop panicking when things fall away. You stop clinging so tightly to what is temporary. You find peace not in holding on, but in letting go. So when the world feels like it is falling apart, remember this: it will not last. No storm lasts forever. No pain is permanent. No failure is final. Just as the seasons change, your life will change too. The monk's deepest strength comes from this wisdom. He doesn't break because he knows that what is breaking today will one day heal, and what is heavy today will one day pass. Carry this truth with you, and you will become unshakable. You will find courage to face the present, no matter how difficult, because you know it is not forever. And you will find gratitude for the present, no matter how beautiful, because you know it is precious and fleeting. Impermanence is not a curse. It is the greatest gift. It teaches you not to fear change, but to live fully in every moment. Trust the flow of life. The monk's secret to unshakable freedom. Most people today are exhausted not because of the weight of life itself, but because of their constant fight against it. We want things to happen faster. We want control over outcomes. We resist every change, every challenge, every unexpected turn, and when life doesn't go according to our script, we break down. But the monk shows us another way, the way of surrender, not as weakness, but as ultimate strength. To a monk, life is like a river. You cannot hold the river still. You cannot tell it where to bend, when to rush, or when to calm. You can either drown trying to resist it, or you can learn to float to trust its current, to allow it to take you where you need to go. This is what Buddhists call accepting impermanence, the deep understanding that nothing lasts forever. Not pain, not joy, not success, not failure. Everything is in motion, and once you stop clinging, you begin to experience freedom. Think about how much of your suffering comes not from reality, but from your resistance into reality. You lose a job, and instead of focusing on what's next, the mind clings to what's gone. A relationship ends, and instead of healing, you replay memories until they destroy you. The monk's wisdom is this: let go of what you cannot hold. Trust the flow. The more you let life move through you, the more peace you find within. But this is not just an idea. It is a practice. Monks train their minds to accept reality through daily meditation on impermanence. One technique is to sit quietly, breathing deeply, and observe your thoughts without judgment. Watch how they come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. Notice how no thought stays forever. This reminds you that even your darkest emotions will also pass. Another powerful monk technique is mindful surrender. Whenever something unexpected happens, instead of immediately reacting with anger or fear, pause and say silently, "This too belongs. This too has its place in the river of my life." This shifts you from resistance to acceptance. Suddenly, instead of fighting reality, you are flowing with it. In today's world, people call this being unshakable. But to the monk, it is simply being aligned with truth. The truth that you were never meant to control everything. The truth that your peace does not depend on external events, but on your ability to remain still while everything else moves. When you begin to trust the flow of life, a new kind of power awakens in you. You stop chasing, you stop forcing, you stop breaking under the weight of what ifs. Instead, you learn the deepest lesson of all, that peace is not found in controlling life, but in surrendering to it. And from this surrender comes the greatest freedom you'll ever know. So, the monk who doesn't break while the world falls apart isn't special because the world treats him kindly. He is special because he has mastered the art of flowing with life instead of fighting against it. And that, above all, is how you too can remain unshakable, no matter what storms surround you. The world today is loud, chaotic, and heavy. Every day feels like a battle to hold yourself together while everything around you seems to be falling apart. But through these lessons, the monk has shown us a different way. One that doesn't depend on escaping the world, but on mastering your mind within it. When you detach from the noise, you protect your inner peace. When you master your reactions, you choose strength over impulse. When you embrace discipline and silence, you discover a power far greater than approval or attention. When you face pain with wisdom, you transform suffering into growth. And when you trust the flow of life, you step into a freedom that nothing can shake. The monk doesn't break, not because his life is free of storms, but because he has built his foundation deep within, where no storm can reach. And you have that same power. You don't need to run away to a monastery, shave your head, or wear robes. You simply need to begin here and now with small steps. Protect your peace. Choose silence. Practice acceptance. Trust the process. Remember this: strength is not about controlling the world. It's about not letting the world control you. The more you live by these teachings, the more unshakable you become. So when the world falls apart, you won't fall with it. You'll stand calm, steady, and free, like the monk.